Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Bodybuilding Mountain. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about something that's not talked about a lot in bodybuilding circles, but it has been surfacing quite a bit lately when it comes down to some necessary minerals that you should make sure are up to par, at least to make sure that your body is running efficiently. So one of the reasons why I'm talking about this is that there was a bit of this girl, honestly, the way she was speaking pretty arrogantly. And she was saying that she was doing a carnivore diet, just the muscle meat, and basically just eating steak and that sort of stuff and whatever, for 5 years. And she said if that diet wasn't perfect, she already would have some sort of issue of some sort surfacing. So I'm not wishing for her to have some sort of issue or problem, it's not like that. But to say that something needs to surface within 5 years in order to prove that her diet is not sufficient is naive. It's kind of a naive thing, because I know people that did diets like vegetarian diets or this or that for 10 years and over, and for the first several years they felt fine on those diets, and then only during the long term do they start to notice some sort of mineral deficiencies. Even myself, with lower fat type diets or drinking water supply that had too much chlorine in it for a period of time, I went magnesium deficient, right? And then only through supplementation of magnesium did I get rid of this overall body ache that was happening, that was almost like the flu, right? But instantaneously, as soon as taking liquid magnesium, not the pill form of magnesium, because the pill form did nothing for me. It was only the liquid magnesium that had the same alkalinity as seawater. That's the only one that actually absorbed properly. Did I notice an alleviation of the symptoms of having a magnesium deficiency? So one of the things that I've never really looked at myself, probably not enough, was calcium deficiency. Now I understand that this is a rare thing, because apparently the North American diet with dairy products and so forth, even though there's not a lot of absorbability in certain dairy products over others and whatever, we seem to have enough calcium for the most part in our general diets. But the one thing that people have to understand is that depending on what's going on with your digestion, what's going on with your genetics, what's going on with your individual situation, will depend on whether you are absorbing enough calcium or enough minerals of any sort, right? So what I'm going to say to you is that some of you who are having some sort of joint issues or muscle issues, maybe you're not recovering or things are not working right, it is always possible that you have one mineral or another that is in a deficiency sort of state for optimum performance, right? You might not have gotten to the point where you're so deficient that you're having severe health problems, but you may be having mild tweaks or problems recovering and so forth. Now, that's the beautiful thing about bodybuilding, is that you start to see things that are going wrong in your system long before they become health problems, and you can make adjustments from there. So if you look up calcium deficiency, or if you look up magnesium deficiency or potassium deficiency, you may notice that some of the symptoms that happen are in correlation with what you might be experiencing. Now, we know that magnesium is hard to get. It's hard to get enough magnesium in your diet, and that's why I always recommend a trace mineral type supplement that has the majority of magnesium plus an assortment of other trace minerals. But another thing that I've been doing to make sure I get enough calcium in my diet is eating crushed eggshell. Now, if you look up on the internet, they'll tell you how to prepare it and whatever. I've been just washing the egg and putting in the raw egg and shell and everything in the blender and risking salmonella, okay? You don't have to give me a lecture on that or whatever, but the bottom line is that eggshell is highly absorbable. It's got a calcium that's highly absorbable and utilizable by the body. Utilizable, is that a word? But the body is very able to utilize it, and therefore you're getting that extra burst of calcium per day. And I think because I drink coffee and stuff, and I think I just naturally have a tendency to not absorb probably a lot of vegetable calcium and stuff. It seems like my body seems to do well with carnivore-ish type of diets with boatloads of starch in contained periods of time. So say basically having a bunch of brown rice or rice or pasta or something here and there, right? But I find that if I eat that all the time, then my body seems to push back against it as far as it doesn't like it, or I feel bogged down, or my digestion doesn't work as well. So I find that I need to have starch, but not every single meal. That's really my point. So basically what I've been doing is I've been adding some eggshell to my protein shakes, and then you have a little bit of vitamin D in the egg yolk, and vitamin D does help the absorption of calcium. But this is an experiment I've been doing. Now, I think I have a theory, and I'm not saying I'm right about this or not, but I have a theory that I may have been slightly calcium deficient for quite a long time, because I had taken it as a fact that North Americans are very rarely calcium deficient, especially North American males, right? We know women, when they go through osteoporosis and stuff, that has there's a different bunch of rules around that where they tend to lose a certain amount of calcium. But for men, we just assume that they're not really gonna have such a problem. Well, that assumption can be an issue. And that's really what I wanna talk to you about, is that don't listen to experts as absolutely as, let's just say don't diminish your own awareness in the process of listening to experts, okay? They'll give you some sort of theories on something, but it doesn't mean that what they're saying is absolute true for you. And that's really what I've been saying since the beginning on this YouTube channel. Because we know there have been some charlatans exposed on YouTube, you know, some recently, right? We know that, right? But some of the things they're saying are possibly true for you, right? And the fact is that I was iron deficient years and years and years ago, and I was showing you that I was eating organ meat back in 2015, 2016. If you look at my older videos, I was eating organ meat from time to time. Maybe not all the organ meats, maybe not enough bone broth or trachea cartilage or that kind of stuff, but I was eating liver, because I noticed that I felt totally different when I ate liver, because I was a bit iron deficient, and I think I was a bit deficient in vitamin A. So each type of nutrition will give you something that you need, and only through using your awareness and experimenting will you find out what's right for you. But if you just listen blindly to experts, right, and just say, okay, I just want the template, just do A, B, C, and D, and that's going to give me a perfect diet, that's always going to result in disaster, because you have your own specific situation that you have to pay attention to. And there could be a whole assortment of variables that are playing a role in whether you have one deficiency or another. So one thing that would be a great thing for you to do once in a while, if you do have access to it, is to get a mineral test to find out what your minerals are doing in your body. Everything from calcium, magnesium, potassium to, you know, all of them, you know, all the trace minerals, everything. If you can do a test like that, I'm sure some naturopaths have some access to that, then you might get a good idea on what you need to top up or to increase in your diet, or maybe some changes. But I'm going to say this, if your minerals are in check, you're going to heal better. You're going to have a better hormonal profile. You're going to have a lot of these weird phantom symptoms all of a sudden leave, and it's all because your body was actually asking for something. So sometimes symptoms are not always because you're doing something wrong. Sometimes it's because your body's asking for something that is missing. And that is something that I have experienced myself and also seen in other people from time to time. And it's crazy, you know, like sometimes we deal with these horrible symptoms for so long, and then all of a sudden, you know, you figure out, oh, my magnesium is off. And then you take some magnesium, and then all of a sudden, boom, symptoms are gone. You're like, wow, that was weird, you know, like such a little solution to a huge or seemingly huge problem. So yeah, pay attention to the minerals. That's what I'm going to say. And if you do have a tendency to have certain symptoms of some sort in the body, you know, there's a possibility that there might be a mineral solution, not necessarily just an exercise solution. There might be a nutritional solution to that. And yeah, at least be open to that experiment and do some research and see if maybe some of your symptoms are correlating with a mineral deficiency of some sort, right? Mountain. So yeah, I hope this helps you out in your training. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the Patreon supporters, and take care for now. And there I talk about this stuff as well on Patreon, what I'm doing, theories, ideas, stuff about health, stuff about what I feel to be true so far, but what I might be learning as well at the same time as I go through my daily process of life, right? So I hope this helps you out. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Natural.